They say education is a beacon of a society. It is called a force for social development, which brings improvement in every aspect of a society. And our hills have always been privileged by excellent quality education. Schools out here have always been elite and prestigious and are ranked amongst the best schools in India, due to which parents from every corner come to Kalimpong, Kurseong and Darjeeling to enroll their children in one of the best schools for their future. It is not easy to get enrolled in these schools. As I being a local and from one of the elite schools, GMS, I still remember our school days, as the majority of students used to be from across the borders or from far-flung areas. But today, numbers have drastically depreciated. Localites ratio mostly was lesser compared to the borders. But now the tables have turned. A few unfortunate circumstances are the reason for what really happened. So once again, let's go back in time and find out from its inception. So welcome to Nepali Vibes. Today the topic is the rise and fall of education in Darjeeling district. Part 1. The British indeed took a lot from us, but we cannot argue the fact that they left few too. One of them is their Western education system, and Darjeeling is one of the main hubs and is also another reason Darjeeling is famous for. The hill stations of Darjeeling became popular not only for tea and tourism, but also for its excellent educational system during the 19th century. The rise. Since the inception of Darjeeling and the hills around it, it became the educational hub where the native people also received Western education. With the change in the economic system, traditional schools such as Pathshala, tolls and madrasas slowly vanished because of the disappearance of the social patronage. However, early settlers such as Lepchas, Bhutias and Limbus followed their own non-formal educational system. Native education in India was gradually being replaced by the Western education system. Christian missionaries along with the other voluntary organizations played a major role in Darjeeling Hills in spreading education among the masses. For introducing modern education, various European Christian missions credit goes to Baptist missionary societies and Church of Scotland missionary societies. Many British settled in Darjeeling town since its genesis, and arrangements had to be made for the education of their children too. The intention was to impart a very high standard of education to the children of the European community. Missionary efforts provided primary, secondary, high secondary and vocational education to European and Anglo-Indian children. The Catholic missionaries emphasized not only on intellectual growth but also physical development through games and sports. Most of the European schools in the district are secondary schools that follow the Western model. There are many European schools in Darjeeling. One of the first schools in Darjeeling was Loreto Convent. The earliest of the European schools in the district was the Loreto Convent for girls, founded in 1846. Dr. Carew, Archbishop of Calcutta, asked the Loreto sisters to open a branch school in Darjeeling. They built the present convent with funds provided by William Moran, a tea broker, and a T.R. Lonham, ICS and District Judge of Darjeeling. St. Paul's. Apparently in 1823, the Parental Academic Institution was established to meet the educational needs of the growing British and Anglo-Indian community in Kolkata. Bishop Wilson, who had affiliated the schools with St. Paul's Cathedral in Calcutta, renamed the school St. Paul's in 1847. Bishop Cotton then moved the school to Darjeeling in 1863 because of financial issues. So finally this school shifted to its present-day Jalpahar, Darjeeling in 1864. St. Joseph's, North Point. Father Henry Depelchin founded St. Joseph's School Darjeeling on 13 February 1888, a private Catholic school for boys in Darjeeling, originally known as St. Joseph's College. The college section separated from the rest of the school. The school opened under the direction of the Fathers of the Society of Jesus in a building known as St. Joseph's Seminary in Sunnybank and transferred in 1892 to its present site at North Point. Father Depelchin bought 9 acres of land from the Bengal government and 8 acres from the Maharaja of Burdwan. The construction of the school building was completed in 1890. Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is a co-educational school founded in 1895. This school too is in North Point and was founded by Emma L. Knowles, who became its first principal. Mount Hermon was well known as Arcadia initially and later renowned as Queen's Hill School. It was originally a girls' school with a small department for junior boys. In 1926, the school moved to North Point, where the main building was erected in the Mount Hermon estate, purchased from Lebong Tea Company by Bishop Fisher. Victoria Boys and Dowell School, Kurseong. The oldest of the schools for Europeans in Kurseong is the Victoria Boys School. It was first established at Constantia by Sir Ashley Eden, then Lieutenant Governor of Bengal in 1879, as a co-educational institution, but was removed to Darjeeling in 1880. Originally, it was established for railway employees, and they extended its scope to government servants of all classes and the children of officers paid out of local funds. The children of non-officials are also admitted, but they pay a higher rate of fees. The current Victoria School for Boys opened in 1897, and they separated the Darwell School for girls. Darwell School was the school's original name between 1879 and 1888. After a decade, the boys' school moved to its current location 1 kilometer away and was renamed as Victoria Boys School. Sir Charles Eliot, who had funded the new building, authorized the reopening of the girls' school in the former school building and the Darwell Girls' School founded in 1898. Here is a fun fact about Darwell School. It's considered to be the second most haunted place in India. The Guthal's Memorial School was founded in memory of Dr. Paul Count Guthals, S.J., Archbishop of Calcutta. It is an Indian boarding school run by Congregation of Christian Brothers. It is located 5 miles north of Kurseong at an elevation of 5,500 feet above the sea level. In 1903, the Christian Brothers arrived in Kurseong to open a school after meeting with Archbishop. The Maharaja of Burdwan sold them 140 acres of land. After clearing this site, Brother John Molitor was entrusted with the building's construction. The construction of the school and hostel took 4 years. St. Helens, Kurseong. On April 17, 1890, the pioneering sisters arrived from Calcutta and welcomed the girls into their convent. The Mother Superior of the sisters began looking for a new location for the school, but 1902, they had completed the new school. St. Helens Technical School was named by the Mother Superior, Senior Mary Imek. The authorities of St. Helens placed a high value on music. In 1903, they designated the school as the location for the Trinity College of Music examination. In 1910, St. Helens School was made a secondary school and in 1913 upgraded to higher secondary school. Doctors of the Cross nuns run St. Helens School. St. Joseph's Convent. In 1919, Jules Donnel of the Foreign Mission Society of Paris discovered Kalimpong was accepting new residents. So without further delay, he approached the Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny from Chandanagar, inviting them to open a holiday home in Kalimpong, which could later become a house for education. The British Catholics of Kalimpong asked the nuns to open a girls' school, and thereafter St. Joseph's Convent was founded in 1926 by the missionaries of the Roman Catholic Sisters of St. Joseph of Cluny. At first, they established it as a sanatorium for the sisters teaching in the plains, but gradually it turned into an important education institution with a boarding school for European and Anglo-Indian girls. They also admitted boys up to the age of 8. Dr. Graham's Homes, Kalimpong. Dr. Graham's Homes, known as DGH as well, and also formerly St. Andrew's Colonial Homes, was founded in 1900 by John Anderson Graham, a missionary of the Church of Scotland, who settled in Kalimpong and worked with the local community for several years during the turn of the 20th century for children abandoned by British Army personnel, administrators and tea planters, provide them with vocational training and shipped to British colonies such as New Zealand, Australia and Canada for their better future. Graham opened St. Andrew's Colonial Homes on land leased from the government of Bengal below Dalo Hill in a rented cottage with 6 children. He would soon lease 100 acres and then over the years a total of 400 acres as the homes continued to grow. By 1906, there were 187 children at the homes. By 1920, the homes complex was a self-sufficient village housing 600 children, which featured a hospital, gymnasium and a farm. St. Augustine Schools, Kalimpong. It is an Anglo-Indian school in the hill station established in 1945. The tiny seed was planted by Father Benjamin Stolk in 1949 when he undertook to tutor a few convent boys in Latin. Local students joined in. Father Stolk was soon found holding in his own bedroom classes of 12 to 15 boys ranging from kindergarten to matriculation and senior Cambridge. Then the threat of Japanese bombardment over Kolkata induced anxious parents to evacuate their children to the hills. In 1945, it was shifted to the present location. Father Eberhard had taken over as principal and opened the first admission register with 27 entries. They purchased 14 acres of adjacent land and leveled up a piece of building ground. But funds remained stubbornly scarce, and for another 30 years, the new land, as it used to be called, was handed over to the Swiss Diary. History of schools for natives in the Darjeeling Hills. However, most of the neediest schools in India did not get recognition and financial help from the government, so they died slowly a natural death. When they failed to serve the purpose of educating people gradually, the modern Western education system ultimately brought all the people together and introduced the advanced curriculum of the West. Darjeeling School. In 1856, the Darjeeling School was established. The Darjeeling Government High School, previously known as the Darjeeling Anglo-Hindu School and then Darjeeling Zilla School, was established as a government-managed Middle English school. They split the school up into two, one a boarding school for Bhutias and the other aided school for Bengalis and Hindustanis. Bhutia Boarding School, Darjeeling. Bhutia Boarding School was established in 1874. The purpose of the Bhutia Boarding School was to educate young Tibetan and Sikkimese boys who lived in Sikkim or the Darjeeling area. Darjeeling Government High School. Darjeeling Government High School started after the amalgamation of Bhutia Boarding School and Darjeeling Middle School. These two schools amalgamated in 1892 and upgraded to high school status. The first headmaster of the school was renowned Tibetologist Sri Sarath Chandra Das, who was also an explorer and linguist expert in Tibetan, Lepcha and Nepali languages. It is open to all natives, and many students are the children of plain immigrants such as native government clerks and other Bengali and Hindustani residents in Darjeeling. Besides, there are also Nepalis, but few of the pupils are Bhutias and Lepchas. St. George Higher Secondary School, Pedong, is a minority Christian educational institution run by the Catholic bishops of the Diocese of Darjeeling. French fathers had learned Tibetan and held informal classes, which eventually developed into a school in 1885. By 1911, it had developed into a full-fledged middle school. The French fathers handed over the school to the canon regular fathers of the Abbey of Maurice in Switzerland in 1837. The school was affiliated with the West Bengal Board of Secondary Education in 1952. St. Alphonsus HS School, Kurseong. St. Alphonsus School was established for native pupils by the Roman Catholic Church as a primary school in 1888 outside the municipal area of Kurseong. However, the school upgraded to the level of a high school in 1936. The origins of St. Alphonsus School are traced back to Father Morton, a philosophy professor at St. Mary's College. Father Michael Very, who was also in charge of the school, invested his heart and soul in the development of St. Alphonsus School. He placed a premium on vocational education, introducing carpentry, tailoring and shoemaking. Archbishop Muleyman purchased the Clarendon Hotel in Kurseong in 1937. The hotel converted into a beautiful school building. Father Joseph Murray Abraham took over as principal of the school in 1960. Later, as part of work education, Father Abraham demolished the hotel and built the current school with the help of students. Role of the monasteries in promoting education in the Darjeeling Hills. Monasteries provided their own education system throughout the 18th and 19th centuries. Monasteries are centers of Buddhist culture, even though the standard of education is imparted to them. The Ghum Monastic School was founded in 1882 to foster friendly relations with Tibetans and other trans-frontier people, to assist monks in their contributions to Buddhist literature, and to entice lamas to settle and educate their children. The Tibetans place a premium on preserving and promoting the rich cultural heritage. When H.H. Dalai Lama and the government in exile arrived in India in 1959, the primary concern was the education of Tibetan children. The Tibetan School Societies was founded in 1961. Darjeeling's Central School for Tibetans was founded in 1961, Kalimpong's in 1964 and Sunada's in 1975. Pathshalas and tolls in the Darjeeling Hills. The first Pathshala, Sri Pasupati Sanskrit Vidyalaya in Iche, Kalimpong, established in 1917. The Himachal Hindi Bhavan, with the assistance of the Darjeeling municipality, introduced Sanskrit toll in Darjeeling. Sarvodaya Gurukul Ashram in Kurseong and Sri Hareshwar Sanskrit Pathshala in Lingsay was founded in 1946 respectively. While Soladevi Sanskrit Toll Kalimpong was founded in 1954, Sanskrit is used as a medium of instruction here. Madrasas and Maktabs in Darjeeling Hills. In 1860, near the Darjeeling Mosque, the Anjuman-e-Islamia was founded with the goal of improving the social and moral conditions of Muslims through Islamic teachings. In 1910 and 1920, the West Bengal Madrasa Board recognized the establishment of a boys' junior madrasa. Later, a girls' maktab was built near Choti Masjid. The Anjuman Islamia Maktab in Kalimpong and the Azad Primary School in Kurseong were established to impart education. Hindi is the medium of instruction in all maktabs. Urdu is the primary language. English and Arabic are also taught because the latter is required for learning the Quran. However, since its inception, in today's Darjeeling districts, there are multiple private and government schools affiliated with ICSE, CBSE, Madhyamik, HSISE boards, each with their visions and missions and delivering the best quality education to all youngsters for their bright future. But even these schools have been victims, just like Christian missionary schools, because of many political disruptions, including the recent coronavirus outbreak in the year 2019. Which I'll be covering in The Rise and Fall of Education in Darjeeling District Part 2.